so that we can be able to create a enabling environment where these youths will not have a need to leave Africa to go to Europe. We want to reverse this trend. This is a major challenge to us as Africans here. We talked about hunger, famine in the continent. How Africa has got the biggest arable land for food production today. Yet, we have food deficiency in almost all African countries. How do we reverse this trend? How do we improve agricultural production so that we can be self-sufficient in terms of food? Today, we are net importers. You saw just when this war between Russia and Ukraine broke out, many African countries suffered seriously because you find that most of them are importing grain from Ukraine and Russia. Why don't we grow these products here on the continent? And then the issue of climate change is a major challenge to the continent. Africa is a victim rather than offender in this subject of climate change, because Africa's emission is less than 5%. Property, which is around 3%. But Africa suffers seriously the consequences of climate change. Many African countries today live between two twin disasters: floods and drought, El Nino and La Nina. So when the floods come, they come with devastations. People are drowned in their homes. Houses are destroyed. Roads are washed. Bridges are washed away. So you find that you have serious damages that requires a lot of resources to repair. When La Nina comes, then again people suffer seriously. You find animals are dying for lack of water. People are dying for lack of water. There's a famine across the continent. Seriously. How do we make the offenders, those people who have been vomiting this trash in our environment, that has made the entire globe to warm up like this, to compensate Africa for the damages that Africa is suffering? If Africa goes as individual countries to negotiate, they just take advantage of you. So there's need for Africa to negotiate as one voice for adequate compensation for this destruction of our continent. I could go on and on. There are several issues. Issues, of course, of the youth, issues of gender, the African woman. How do we make sure that the African woman is given her base recognition for the contribution that is making to the society? That is another challenge that is there. So then, in this new world that is globalizing, and where now new technology has come, we now have AI driving development. Where does Africa sit? And how does Africa use this new knowledge to leapfrog development, to be able to catch up with the rest of the world? This is a challenge. Again, which the AU can lead the way for the continent. So we have a plate full here on the continent because we have got a lot of problems. We are trying to see that Africa moves closer to each other, like now Europe today. If you look at the history of the European Union, it has been a history of step by step. It started first just as a cold union between France and Germany. It moved on until it became a European Economic Community, and then moved further to become the European Union. Today, the European Union is very effective in coordinating development in Europe. You have a European Parliament, which passes laws which are then adopted by the European governments. A far cry comparison to the Pan-African Parliament in Joburg. You have got the European Court of Justice, and then the European Union Executive in Brussels. So Europe is just as diverse as Africa. The European countries are very diverse. You need to know that just before I was being born, Europe was fighting against each other seriously. And after that, even coming together was a major problem. There was a lot of discrimination between Europeans. If you look at that fascism of Hitler, aged Aryan race, and so on, they also have got tribes in Europe. They are Anglo-Saxons, they are Latinos, they are the Slavs, and so on. But that has faded into oblivion. You've got a European Union that can speak with one voice. Why should languages be a barrier in the continent? Oh, this one is an Anglophone, this one is Francophone, Russophone, Arabophone, and so on. We want to be Afrophones and speak as one people, as Africans. To me, this is the most important thing in the continent. To have Africa for Africans, and Africa speaking with one voice for unity of Africa. Thank you.